Hello students, welcome to the Open Team YouTube channel. Today we will be discussing the short story titled The Black Cat that is written by Edgar Allan Poe. I will try my best to simplify the summary of the short story, The Black Cat. Before starting today's class, I have two things to tell you. First is, this will be a non-detailed audio class. Okay. And second is, the class is exclusively for those students who are preparing for their exam. So that's it. Let's start the class. First of all, let's see the characters whom we will see in this short story. Okay. First character is the narrator. Then narrator's wife. Then a cat named Pluto. Then other animals. Then a servant. Then another cat. In physical appearance, this cat looks similar to that of Pluto, but there is a white patch on its chest, and it is that white patch that makes this cat different from Pluto. In the short story, we will see the death of characters, death of some of the characters. Okay. Their death are not natural deaths, but it is murder actually. So, death can be considered as one of the theme of this short story. It is narrator's wife and Pluto, the cat. These two characters are dying in this short story, and they are not dying naturally, they are killed. They are being killed by the narrator himself. At the beginning of the story, the narrator is seen inside a prison cell. Okay. Next day, he will be died. So from there, he is writing his life story, and he says that he is unreliable. At the beginning of the story, we can see him as a good person who is kind at heart. Let's see who all are there inside his house. Okay. In his house, we can see he himself, then his wife, then there is a servant, then there are some pets in his house, some animals. Okay. So from this, what we can understand is he is a pet lover. Not only him, his wife too is a pet lover. That is why this much animals are there in their house. Among these animals, among these pets, his favorite was a cat named Pluto. The appearance of Pluto was like full black in color, and that was a big cat. Pluto followed the narrator wherever he goes, and there existed a bond between Pluto and the narrator. That means Pluto was special to him. Okay, till this time everything was going smoothly. Then what happened was he started taking alcohol. He became an alcoholic man. Because of this habit, whenever he takes alcohol, he is transforming from a kind person into a cruel person. He is becoming a cruel person whenever he takes alcohol. Okay, let's see how cruel he is when he take alcohol. When he take alcohol, he abuses his wife. Okay, not only his wife, but also he abuses all other animals in his house, his pets. The abuse is done not only verbally but also physically. Now let's see what happened in one night when he came home drunk. That night he got a feeling like his pet cat, that is Pluto, is avoiding him. Pluto was actually his favorite, that we already discussed earlier. Pluto was his favorite. So when he got the feeling like Pluto is avoiding him, he suddenly lost his temper. Then he transformed into a cruel person and what he did was he attacked the cat and he plucked one eye of Pluto. So, this is everything that happened during the night. In the morning, he really felt bad about what he did to Pluto. But earlier, there existed a bond between narrator and the Pluto. After this incident, what happened was their bond was lost. Their bond was lost because narrator attacked Pluto last night and narrator even plucked one of Pluto's eyes. How can then Pluto go near narrator? How can Pluto even trust narrator again? So, Pluto's this behavior generates sadness in the mind of the narrator because Pluto was his favorite pet. He attacked Pluto when he drank alcohol. So Pluto is avoiding the narrator every time. Because of this, what the narrator did was narrator took Pluto in his hands and he hanged the Pluto from a tree. Actually speaking, he murdered Pluto. So Pluto is dead now. And who killed Pluto? It is the narrator who killed Pluto. And the reason was narrator get the feeling that Pluto is avoiding him all the time, who was his favorite. Pluto was narrator's favorite and he can't bear it. Then what happened was during night, narrator's house was caught on fire. His house was burning fully. Narrator and his wife and the servant escaped the fire, but the possessions in the house, everything in the house burned. So everything in the house destroyed because of fire. Now let's see what happened in the next day. So everything burned. In the next day, he is visiting the burned house again. What he found in his house was, except one wall, everything has destroyed. And the neighbors, the people are coming to see the burned house and they are looking at the only existing wall. When the narrator go near this existing wall, what he found was he could see a shape of the murdered cat, that is Pluto, a shape. From this, what we can understand is that death of Pluto is haunting the narrator. Then, after this, days passed. One day, narrator happened to see another cat who looks exactly similar to that of Pluto, but there was a white patch on its chest, and it is that patch that makes this cat different from that of the Pluto. Narrator is saying that soon a bond developed between that cat and the narrator. Because of this reason, the narrator takes that cat into his home. His wife too loved that cat. Then what happens is narrator starts to avoid the cat. The reason is that I already mentioned earlier that this cat looks exactly similar to that of Pluto. Pluto is the cat the narrator murdered. So what makes this cat different from that of Pluto is only a white patch is there on his chest. So whenever he sees this cat, he remembers Pluto. And whenever he sees the cat, he feels shame because of his actions he did towards Pluto. I'm so sorry students, I forgot to mention one feature of this cat. This cat doesn't have one eye. And our Pluto also doesn't have one eye because it had been plucked by the narrator once. So there is similarity between Pluto and this cat, right? Pluto don't have one eye. This cat also don't have one eye. Pluto is full black in color. This cat too is black in color, but there is a white patch on its chest, and it is that white patch that makes this cat different from that of Pluto. So whenever he sees this new cat, he remembers about Pluto and the action that he did towards Pluto. Sometimes when narrator looks at the white patch on this cat's chest, he could see gallows on it, shape of gallows on it, and the image of the gallows on the white patch frightens the narrator, and he is slowly and gradually is becoming a cruel person. And it is said that every good nature in him has lost. And one day he, along with his wife, is going to visit their old house. So this new cat is following him. Okay, so when he sees this new cat that is following him, he takes the tool axe and he started to swing that tool on it. So this is seen by his wife. She wanted to stop him. So the wife is attempting to stop him. So because of her interference, what happens is this axe strikes on the wife's head. That means he hits on the head of his wife with an axe and he kills her. This action happened accidentally, and this is a result of his short temperedness. So here he killed his wife. How? By hitting on her head with an axe. He killed her. So what he plans next is to remove the body. He comes up with numerous plans to hide the body, but at last he decides to hide the body in the wall of the cellar, and he hides the body in the wall of the cellar. Then after hiding his wife's dead body in the wall of the cellar, what he did was to find the cat. Initially his plan was to kill the cat with an axe, but his wife interfered and the result was her death instead of the cat's death. But he searched for the cat everywhere, but he couldn't find the cat. The cat is found missing. Now everything that was a problem to him is not there in his house. That is, first is the cat. The cat was a big problem to him because whenever he sees the cat, he gets remembered of Pluto. That was haunting him. And the next problem was his wife. So his two problems are not there in the house. So he gets a proper sleep that night. He is seen living happily for the next 3 days. On the fourth day, what happened was few policemen came into his house. They came to search the property. The narrator takes all the policemen into his house to each room. Narrator is not at all embarrassed. He is not worried about the dead body that he has hidden in the house. He was sure that the police is not going to find the body that he has hidden in the house. So the policemen searched everywhere in the house and they didn't find anything from the house. So they are about to leave the house. Then what the narrator did was, narrator stopped the policeman. Why? Because he wanted to hear from the policeman how well his house has been built. He wanted to get the review of his house from the policeman. So he stopped the policeman to hear from them. One thing that we need to focus here is all of them are standing at the place where the narrator has hidden the dead body of his wife. The narrator was chit-chatting with the policeman, and during his chit-chatting, what he did was, there was a cane on his hand. What he did was, using his cane, he hit on the brick and it was on that place the body was hidden, and he is hitting on the place where the dead body is hidden. As a response to the tap that he has done, a sound came. We cannot say that as a sound. That was a mourning sound. So by hearing this sound, the narrator got frightened. The policeman wanted to know where this morning sound come. They searched and they found the dead body that was hidden inside the wall. When the police found the body, the dead body was covered with blood, and on top of the dead body there was the cat. And this was the same cat that was found missing for days since the death of his wife. The narrator never thought that the police will find his wife's dead body from inside the wall. The only reason the policeman found the wife's body from inside the wall because of the screaming or the mourning sound of the cat. So that's it. This is the summary, a brief summary or a non-detailed summary of the short story The Black Cat by Edgar Allan Poe. If we summarize the short story into brief, we can say that in the story there is a narrator. Narrator lives with his wife and pets. Among his pets, his favorite was the cat Pluto. The name of the cat was Pluto. Initially he was a kind-hearted, good person by heart. What changes his personality is his habit of alcoholism. Whenever he take alcohol, his whole personality changes. He transforms into a cruel person. He behaves rudely to his wife as well as to his pets. He starts to abuse both the wife and the pets. And it is his habit of alcoholism that made him to kill his favorite pet, Pluto. Then few days after the death of Pluto, a new cat that is similar to that of Pluto comes to his life. The only thing that makes this cat different from that of Pluto is a white patch is there on its chest. Soon a bond develops between this cat and the narrator. But whenever the narrator sees this cat, he gets remembered of Pluto, the memories he had about Pluto, and the guilt, the shame about the guilt that he has, the actions that he has done to Pluto. He killed Pluto, right? Because of all these reasons, he decided to kill that cat too. And his plan was to kill the cat using an axe. But his wife interfered, and the result was her death instead of the cat's death. He hides the body, he hides the dead body of his wife inside the wall. He don't want to let the world know that he killed his wife. So he hid the dead body of his wife inside the wall of his house. Then for 3 days he sleeps happily. He gets a sound sleep for the 3 days because there is no cat. The cat is found missing since the death of his wife, and there is no wife in the house, so he sleeps peacefully. Then on the 4th day, policeman comes for investigation, and the policeman finds the dead body of his wife inside the wall and the cat too. And they discovers the cat too. The dead body was discovered because of the screaming sound or the mourning sound of the cat from inside the wall. So the police finds the dead body and the police catches the criminal. Hereby the story ends. This is a brief summary of The Black Cat short story by Edgar Allan Poe. So that's it. If you find today's audio class useful, please subscribe to Tobinsharan team. See you in next video class. Bye bye.